Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So we got a 3% gap down on the Qs and 1.5% gap down on the SPY at the open. So it looks like market is following the script of building the double bottom, hopefully, and yeah, following the script similar to October 2020. The Qs is approaching the rising weekly 9 EMA. Spice is at a similar level, and the Russell is the strongest. A lot of the names are gapping down into the rising 9 EMA, like the leaders are gapping down into the rising 9. So I think most of the time with a huge gap down, and no really specific news or events, maybe like COVID or like something really catastrophic. Most of the time with such a huge gap down, the first thing that I would like to do is to not panic. Don't the first thing is don't panic. Just like when you're getting lost in the woods, the first thing you need to do is just calm down and try and evaluate the situation and the environment, the surroundings. So as I've just said, a lot of the names are gapping down into these support levels. Therefore, I'm not going to sell. I think at least at the open, I'm not sure about like what are the actions after the open, but at the open, I think I'm not going to reduce my exposure unless I got stopped out, maybe like crowd. And definitely there are some signs of extension in especially the semi names and also other like the semi leaders in South Korea and Taiwan market is getting hammered. Maybe not like UMC is still pretty strong up there, but we're seeing some volume pouring in. But a lot of the US mega cap semi leaders are gapping down into the rising EMAs. And furthermore, like the Russell is still the strongest index amongst all three, and is gapping down into the rising 9 as well as the previous highs level. So I may consider buying the dips today. I'm not sure about that, but definitely not selling, and not sure. We'll see. Quantum's names are pushing higher, but they're moving too fast. Oh, I can't buy a lap. I'm just running out of buying power. So I think that's it. Pretty sad, but yeah, it is what it is. We're kind of like Kill today. I'm pulling back into the daily 9 EMA and the previous highs level. After yesterday's rejection and some selling, some shaking out from the yesterday's breakout buyers, stopping them out, and hopefully it can find support and continues higher. So I really like this gap down actually. A lot of the leaders are pulling back into the EMAs or the previous consolidation range. It is actually healthy for the next move because some leaders are going quite extended, and it's good to like slow down a little bit to let them slow down a little bit and maybe like reducing some leverage for some crazy trader just maybe going 10x margin on a 2x leverage ETFs like Western Digital is going a little bit extended with huge volume. So maybe we need the semis especially, and the memory names may need more time for another move. But generally for the for the market as a whole, I'm seeing I'm considering the action is quite okay, quite fine. And again, I think we in this type of market it's better to be too bullish than too bearish and like trying to pick the top, trying to like selling at the top or like top taking the move that it just doesn't worth it. FTNT looks really nice. The software names are picking up some strength today. Iron is finding support at this ascending trend line, and it's still looking pretty good on the weekly. If I missed the first entry, I'll probably enter it on this 1 minute breakout on the quantum name side. I think it is a good intraday pullback buy. I believe it's also at the anchor VWAP of the day, and then it's just a really good risk reward entry, a tight stop to give it a try, and so far so good. How do you decide to exit on the first week of June? To exit on seeing initial weakness versus hold on today's gap down? Yeah, it's a really good question. I have no solid answer for that. Maybe I need to like rewatch my own streams to figure it out. I have been having the CBRS on my watches for the past week. Tried it yesterday of 21 EMA but closed at the end of day. How would you go about longing recent IPOs while they're still basing? CBRS, I talked about it yesterday. Yesterday is I would say the pullback, maybe like the first 5 minutes, first 15 minutes pullback buy on this candle. Like if you're buying on this candle around 231, it's fine. I think it's a solid buy. But I would like to let the 150 could go a little bit more lower, and letting the other EMAs to catch up a little bit, to let them tighten a little bit more, and also daily too. Like daily, the 9 and the 21 are a little bit far away from each other, and it also adds the anchor VWAP from the previous swing high, so it lowers the odds of breaking out. From my experience, I think it's nothing different for trading IPO stocks versus non-IPO stocks. It's just the same. And now that the Qs is trying to rally into the declining 9 and 21, so I would expect some like chop actions or even like a rejection at the declining EMAs. So I don't think it's a really good time to be like a super bullish. And I believe there will be lots more entry opportunity if the market can find support and build another higher lows of this base. So probably it's not going to go straight up from here. It's gonna take some time, I believe. But so far the individual stock sections are looking pretty good. Like they are finding support at where they should, and I wish I'm not going to get stopped out or get shaken out during the choppy period, or I'm doing anything stupid for myself. On average, how many positions do you hold at one time? This is irrelevant to. I think this is not a really important thing to me. What would be the max loss if every one of those positions got stopped out? So average 0.3% risk per position. So 5, 10, 12. So it is around 8%. 5, 10, 4%. But it didn't account for the unrealized profits. It's just based on my initial capital, so it would be a huge drawdown if I got stopped out on all positions at once. If you're only talking about the initial capital, it's only 4%. Wondering why do you select QBT and IONQ? Don't look like pullback. I'm buying the breakout. Is TE a decent entry from here because it's fine support at the hourly 21, and in 5 minutes there's a consolidation. Yeah, kind of like it. Hourly 21 is not that important and it's not lining up that perfectly. But the daily, the 9 EMA, or maybe I think the previous high is the better one. The previous highs from the base, like 1, 2, around 960-ish level is a really important level for TE, I think. And also here, if you consider this also, and also if you go back and then there's some other highs here and the lows here. So yeah, I kind of like this retest, like a breakout and retest into the previous highs, and it's finding support right now, so I kind of like its action. If I haven't entered TE yesterday, I don't know, probably I may enter it on either this candle or at this candle or after this failed breakdown. Probably I'm just going to skip the first 5 minutes. I don't know, is because I'm not trading it today. Yeah, I think if you have a defined stop, that will be fine. Martin, how would you rate the trading difficulty of this year compared to previous years? It's not fair to compare it with the previous years because I keep improving. My trading keeps improving throughout the year, so it's really hard to compare because I'm also improving as well. But the first 3 months of the year is quite challenging. Together with the last 2 months of the 2025, because it's going sideways and it doesn't favor my style. But after like the market bottoms in the late March, like this straight up market is quite easy. But generally this year, yeah, I think I'm not gonna say it's easy, but yeah, I'm doing quite okay. The 0.3% stops is of the account value. You mentioned yesterday that you traded Intel on 11th of June. However, after the opening range breakout in the morning, it dipped below the morning low of that. Did you get stopped out, and how did I decided to re-enter? I bought it at this 15-minute candle, so it's after like the low of the been taken out. But I forgot about whether I bought it at the opening range breakouts or not. Yeah, probably maybe I got stopped out and then yeah, and I reported again. because the 60-minute looks really good, or is bouncing off the EMAs, and the EMAs are close to each other. They're clustered together. And Intel is one of the strongest name in the strongest sector. And the gap up above the daily EMA, and then there's the fade intraday into the 9 and the 21 EMA. And here it like would be a really good level to focus on, and to could have a higher odds for finding support and bounce, rather than something below, somewhere below maybe 105 or something. Well, Nepier's is now up 2%. It's down almost 10% at the open, and now it's already up 2%. That is unexpected. And this, like, it just shows, I think the market will have a like higher odds for finding support, building these higher lows, the higher low, and continues higher, rather than finding resistance and rolling over to the downside, because it's really hard to find this type of action in a correction. Are you concerned about MU upcoming earnings will directly make influence to the whole sector? What if you what if you just looking forward to the earnings? Like, it could have a negative influence, or it could have a positive influence. And I really liked a quote from James Ruppel. He's always said he never met a successful pessimist. And I think in trading, and also in the other aspect of life, like being optimistic is really helps. It just really helps, and your life will become easier, and your trading will become much easier too. Looks like I may gonna get stopped out from quantum names, but I will consider re-entry if I got stopped out today. Let's see. Do you ever take stops off if there's a pre-market gap down to your stop level to see if they reverse up on the open? Yes, I believe occasionally. But I actually try to prevent doing it again. I think, to me, it's okay to get stopped out during in the first 1 or 2 minutes of the market after the open, and then if a stock is gapping down into a certain support level, which is also near my stop level, I think it's okay to get stopped out, and then I can just rebuy them when I like to. Yeah. Iron is doing great. It's turning red to green. Man, the weekly just looks amazing. Hopefully it is going to give me an entry later this week. Do you use 1 minute opening range breakouts for gap down days like this? I think you mentioned that opening range breakouts works better on gap down days. Let's check it out. I mean, if you want to, it's a really good question, and the easiest way to figure it out is to go through all the takers in your watch list. Like, open the 1 minute chart. If you bought Hood on the 1 minute breakout, it works. Intel, it works. Marvel, it works. SNDK failed. MU, no 1 minute opening range breakouts. Nepius is a little bit too wide, but it works. Scyther, it works. Crowd, I would say it works. Corning failed, TE works, LNQ works, QBTS works, and I think you got the answer now. The European market looks pretty good. FTSE is building a 4-month 4-month base, like a, I don't know, Christian loves drawing this type of like a range trend lines, and I think it's doing pretty good on FTSE, and Germany DAX is also doing fine. France is also doing pretty. It's actually the strongest. Check IPX35 from Spain. Oh, Spain is actually the leader, and it's breaking out from a BCP 2 weeks ago. It looks really solid, breaking out from a pretty, before 2023 is like going sideways for, wow, for a decade, and finally it's starting an uptrend, and it could be a, I don't know, yeah, it just looks really nice. I thought you were talking about the World Cup for a second. Tonight we got Portugal, we got Cristiano. But interestingly, if you look back at the previous bull run in the Spain market, it's always before the bear market of the US. Like this is the top of the .com bubble, and this is the history repeats itself again. Like here is a really nice cup with handle, or like a VCP pattern for Korea index OSPI back in 1985. This is the weekly charts. This thing is just it looks really good, and we can't see the volume, but yeah, we'd love to see how the volume expands during this uptrend. I mean, every leg up looks extended, and probably people would think it's gonna be the top. It's going like, I'll consider this. This could be the 1, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and the 9. The 9th extension is the real top. Now we're getting 1, 2, 3. Well, and we're only up to 50% compared to the 650% back in 1987. Yeah, probably we need a pullback or consolidation, but whether this would be the end of the bull market, it's too early to tell. Can I survive in the HSI? Definitely not. And actually, the Dow is the strongest today, not the Russell. Actually, I think the defensive sector is doing quite well. Financial is green. Construction is green, and the industrial is like doing really good on this pullback into the 9 EMA and the previous highs. Healthcare, utility. You think BRT pullback today is a good spot? Yeah, I think it is. Which ADR and market cap indicators did I use? It is the, well, I don't have the author name, but maybe I just modified it from, I don't know, probably this one from by martinlukkt. Have you joined J-Lo's TTT? No, I didn't join any of the subscriptions or online courses. I learned trading purely from all the free resources. Tesla, really sad. Yesterday it didn't close strong, and today it's gapping down. SpaceX probably needs more time to build a base, and also needs some time for the space theme to have some new catalyst, or like some new storytelling, or like some technology improvements, or like new technologies in rockets or space exploration. Definitely now I think it's a little bit too expensive. I don't know. Rocket Lab is getting a 60 billion market cap and only getting 600 million annual revenue. The 600 billion market cap is similar to what is X doing? 12 billion. Similar to Ford. But I believe like SpaceX in the next couple of years, if not years, it's gonna make a huge move. I mean, probably becoming a 10 trillion market cap stock in the coming years. I think. Martinlukkt means poor devil in German. Really? How do you have the confession to hold your trades on these red days? I see you are still holding Corning and Marvel, which you were in deep red, I guess you mean. Um, if you get shaken out many times, like I don't know, like during this type of down days, like especially gap down, and seeing them finding support within the day or maybe a few days after shaking you out, if you have experienced them enough, then you gradually learn how to sit tight and let the stop guiding your trade. And I believe the market like the situational awareness, or like analyzing the general market environment, is also pretty important too. Like whether the market is doing healthy or not, or is the breadth is declining sharply. Are there any new are there any new leaders showing up, showing relative strengths, and where is the indexes or the market is trading at? Like the market is trading up here and here. I think is very different. And if you go back and just study the previous strong uptrend, you can see there are lots of the gap down or the down days. Let's see, are there any gap downs within the base? Maybe something like this, or like it's not gap down, but it plunges intraday into the previous low and then finds support and reverses up again. I think this day is pretty crazy. I think it's better to like sit tight, like I think something like that back in 2021. Just sit tight in it and enjoy the ride and trust the trend, trust the momentum. Is I think it's until something strange or something odd is showing up. And I think most of the time the market is gonna show you some hints before it actually cracks down. Maybe unless like something like COVID, I don't know, because I'm not trading right back here. But like 2022 bear market and 2025 Liberation Day, I believe they all get some kind of signs before the sell off, and it's not going down straight away, so it's getting some kind of choppy period, and like it needs some time to digest the buying power before all the buying power got absorbed, and the selling pressure really becomes the dominant player. I got stopped out from IONQ, and as I've just said, I'm looking for a re-entry on the quantum names. Not sure, but let's see whether it could find support at the like 60-minute EMAs, and the EMAs are pretty tight. And no need to, I think it's no need to rush. Actually, our GTI is a little bit stronger than our LNQ intraday. Probably because of the relative strength on IWM. Like our GTI is a smaller market cap stock. As I've already got QBTS, I think I'm still going to trade LNQ anyways. Gonna need some patience right here. How about QUBT? Yeah, I think QUBT is doing pretty decent too. I mean, I don't know, like it has the potential of like of catching up as a laggard. Like on the weekly chart is the weakest one compared to all other quantum names, and also the less liquid one. Probably I'm gonna stick with RNQ, but I don't know, like the smaller cap RGTI or the another one like INFQ. INFQ is actually breaking out, but already breaking out. I don't know, but I'm just going to stick with INQ. What's your conviction on the quantum names? Is it just because of today's RS? Today's RS is definitely one of the thing. I think another one that is the weekly chart. The weekly chart looks very constructive, and they're near the 9 EMA, the weekly 9, and all the EMAs are trending up, and they are still within the a huge base since October last year. So it's like an 8-month base. Went down by 60%, and then like pushing higher and building the right hand side. And this is the kind of the first pullback into the 50 EMA on the daily charts. Like it's been the right hand candle, the right handle, which has the potential of breaking out and setting up another leg higher, like what they have done in late 2025. I just love buying stocks near the weekly EMAs, and they are still within the base, still within the range. And especially nowadays, the market moves really fast. We have got less and less consolidation on the way up, so I don't want to miss the breakout and miss the lockout rally like crowd. I don't know, like if you miss buying it near the weekly EMAs or near the daily EMAs, and then it just take off, it just going straight up, and it's really hard for you to like enter it during the uptrend. Looks like we're seeing some selling intraday. My view hasn't changed, and I'm still looking for re-entry on IONQ. Let's see whether we got a, I don't know, maybe a undercut and reclaim or a 15-minute candle breakout. But they definitely can continue slower, and if that's the case, then it's gonna be the end of the day. Penguin. Oh, yeah, that is a really good one on the, but it's really hard. At the 21 EMA, or you can say this ascending trend line in the lower part of the base. This is the failed breakout and the undercut and reclaim. Market right now is like just moves so fast. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good. It's actually a pretty good level to look for a pullback buy. IGV is now trading below the entry level from the swing low. It looks pretty bearish, but but if it can do a quick reclaim in the next few days, hopefully like the faster the better. In the next few days and like print a huge green candle or like an undercutting reclaim candle and close strong on the weekly charts, then it will be a really good reversal on the weekly charts. QCOM 50 EMA and anchor VWAP from the prior swing low. Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid area to focus on. QCOM is a little bit volatile, like a lot of gap ups and gap downs. I don't know, but like I think personally I'm not a fan of QCOM, but yeah, right here or even maybe like undercutting the 50 EMA and the anchor VWAP would also be a pretty good level to focus on. And also the weekly, like weekly is right at the anchor VWAP and slightly below the 9 EMA. If we can somehow pulls off a reversal, a bounce and close above the weekly 9 EMA, that will be the best case scenario for the longs. But I think this thing is pretty volatile right now. I would like to see him chill out a bit. So just re-entered IONQ, and I think I'm not going to do much later today. So I'm going to end the stream here. Not sure about where the market will go, but yeah, I'm letting the stops to decide. So thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you in the next one.